welcome to Oddball. I'm Amin Elhassan. That's Izzy Gutierrez right there. Guys.
Grabbing myself.
Oh, look at that. How humble. So excited because tonight begins two new series. You know, as I love about the playoffs, you get into a round, you get into the head-to-head matchup and all this stuff, and then those series end, and then it's like life starts all over again. A brand new series, brand new previews. We got two of them starting tonight. Let's start with Warriors versus Wolves Tuesday night tonight in Minnesota. Wolves are well rested while the Warriors basically had a day off. They probably flew straight from Houston to Minnesota, if we're going to be honest. There are a lot of angles we could take. Let's start with the obvious. Give it to me. Give me the obvious thing. Put it on the screen before I even say it out loud. That's it. That's the picture I was looking for. Draymond Green putting Rudy Gobert into a chokehold. We got this tweet here. Says, this picture is perfect. Gobert fighting for his life. Draymond calmly choking him out. Cat trying to look tough, but it's not working. And then my favorite part, Kerr begging Draymond to stop. Reminder, this happened less than 120 seconds into the game.
If you watch the video of it, I mean, it's sad. I feel bad for Rudy, don't get me wrong. But him, just the face that he's got on when he realizes I'm getting choked and it keeps happening. Nobody's stopping it from happening. It was such a long chokehold. That was absolutely wild. By the way, I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but the other thing I like about the playoffs, my playoff beard is kind of catching up to yours.
Oh, I did not know.
We do like a side-by-side show. So by the end of the playoffs, it's possible that I will catch up to you.
Do you remember Married with Children, Bud Bundy? You got a little something on your chin there. That's what it looks like.
I do remember Bud Bundy, and I don't like that comparison. I do. Look, Rudy Gobert coming off that game to clinch in the previous series looks like he's going to be a bigger deal in this series than he probably is, right? Like, I don't think that he's going to be a big factor. We've seen the Steph Curry teams play him off the floor. And although he was able to stick with the Lakers, I think you're going to tell me that he's going to be played off the floor by the Golden State Warriors more regularly than not, right?
I think, look, the way the Lakers played, they played a lot of matchup hunting, a lot of isolation ball, a lot of give it to Luka, give it to LeBron, get out of the way. And so Rudy, contrary to popular belief, that actually plays a little bit more to his strength. He's a lot more comfortable doing that. Yes, are there going to be those plays where Austin Reeves did him up and hit a crazy shot and Luka hit that crazy shot? Yes, that happened. But when you look at the totality of those interactions, he actually does a pretty good job. As good a job as any big you could ask for in that situation. I think the Warriors is a lot more mentally taxing, right? Because it's a lot of moving parts, and specifically the fulcrum of it all is Draymond Green. And Draymond Green, if you were playing a very simple defense, like the type you play pickup ball at the Y, right? You would say, he can't shoot, sag off him. The problem is the Warriors involve him in so much action that involves handoffs and off-ball screens and all these things that if you sag off Draymond like that, he is going to be involved in an interaction with Steph Curry, and that's going to result in an open Steph Curry 3 unless you're up there. And so I think those things play a role, but Izzy, I mean, we have to acknowledge it. Draymond's going to get under his skin, whether it's going to be as an irritant or as a straight up bully. We saw it against Şengün. I don't know if Rudy Gobert is mentally tough enough to deal with Draymond over a 7-game series.
Certainly not. But the thing is it's not going to be like an Alperen Şengün versus Draymond Green situation. Minnesota's not going to give Rudy the ball in the post and say, hey, go to work on Draymond. So it's going to be a different type of exchanges, right? So where Draymond is so good at the one-on-one play, so good at timing sort of his little body hits, and just so strong with that barrel chest, where he can affect Şengün every single time he's posting up. With Rudy, I mean, what is it? It's going to be a catch and finish at best, right? If he's got the ball on the block, that's a mistake from the Timberwolves offense. So will Draymond be able to, I say get away, again, it's playoff defense. Will he be able to play that same level of playoff defense and get away with the stuff he got away with on Şengün if it's against Rudy as a roller, if it's against him as a screener, as a cutter? Is he going to be able to be as physical if, Gobert sells some of that stuff? I think he will. I don't think Gobert is going to have the mental edge on him. And I think he's going to effectively not play him off the floor as much, but let's just say Naz Reid might get a few more minutes than he has in the past, or maybe in that Lakers series.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's definitely better suited in terms of the variety of things that he can do. Naz Reid can. I think Rudy, like you said, like the way he finds a way onto the floor, first and foremost, is just assaulting the offensive glass. And we saw the Warriors be susceptible to this.
I did.
The series changed a lot for them when Steven Adams started getting more minutes up until, like we said yesterday, up until the point where it didn't matter anymore. But that's how Rudy makes his presence felt, is just being over there on the offensive glass, keeping possessions alive, and hoping that either through his putbacks or him earning new possessions, that giving Anthony Edwards multiple cracks at it is going to be something that is going to be problematic for the Warriors.
Let me say this. There's a reason Draymond had dude in a headlock. It wasn't just because he dislikes him and he speaks with a French accent. Like, he annoys the crap out of him at times on the floor. There's something that he does on the floor to bother him. Wouldn't he? Like, you would imagine that that's a reason why he got somewhat fed up, no? Or is it just a personality? I hate you. I'm tougher than you.
I hate you, and I'm going to punk you out. Again, I have to stress that chokehold did not happen in the throes of a crazy physical game. And he throws me one more elbow, I'm gonna choke him out to the ref, and the ref is like, I don't know. This isn't like Chris Child's two-piecing Kobe Bryant. The game had just started. I think we got one possession down that way. We're coming back this way, and he's already choking him out. That's someone who came in today, showed up to the arena hours ago in street clothes, thinking to himself, I can't wait to choke this MFer out.
Yeah, because he wasn't part of the original little melee. He just ran in, right? With the chokehold.
Yes, it was like somebody like shoved
Here's my chance.
Klay Thompson. And it's like, oh, we got to fight? Cool. And then he just ran over there. So it's just, and again, I don't know. Like, if you're Rudy, how do you recover? Because there's a lot more to it than just I got choked out and this guy's kind of crazy. I don't know how much I want to mess with him. It is what you pointed out, is he like, this is still happening. Meaning nobody's come to my man. I remember there was a game where someone bumped Steve Nash and Shaq came in and started just shoving people. Indiscriminate. He shoved the shit out of Tracy McGrady, and that's his friend, right? Like,
I know we don't like to make these comparisons, but it's like an NHL player, anytime the opposition touches their goalie, it's like, I am going to go after you. Like, you cannot touch this guy. Yes, they do that.
You'll learn something.
No, you can't touch the goalie, man. Hands off. I think we've gone far enough into this topic without bringing up Anthony Edwards. No?
Wait a second. Before let me ask. You can't touch the goalie, the guy with the most protective gear on?
Don't touch that, man. It's like touching the quarterback. Don't touch my quarterback. Get away.
All right, whatever. All right. All right, Anthony Edwards. Izzy, do you believe this story? Anthony Edwards he's claimed this for years now, but he continues to claim that the Warriors told him they wouldn't take him number one, even if they had the top pick in 2020, and that still fuels him. Do you think this is a real story, or is he doing the Michael Jordan, LeBradford Smith kind of making up stuff to keep himself motivated?
Let's go back to this draft, the 2020 draft, correct?
Yes.
Number one pick, Anthony Edwards. Number two pick, James Wiseman.
Yep.
To the Golden State Warriors. Number three pick, LaMelo Ball to the Hornets. So basically they're saying they would have picked Wiseman anyway. Like, they were saying Wiseman was going to be our pick at one regardless. Here's where, if I'm Anthony Edwards, I'm not really that offended, because they did not pick me because of my skill. I think it was pretty clear he and LaMelo were the most skilled players. Yeah. It was just his tape. He looked bored out there. Like, people thought he was not going to be engaged. People thought he was not going to take the game seriously. And they're just like, we don't know what we're going to get out of him. Turns out, and Bomani Jones said this, I remember back then, maybe he was just bored because the game was so easy to him in college. It was ridiculous. He was so much better than everybody else. I'll wait to get challenged in the NBA. Turns out he was right.
Yeah. I mean, like, I can't think of someone who had a more night and day. Like, everything in college that was a question mark has not only been answered, but like answered resoundingly. Like, here's one. So like a rebuttal that someone might have said at the time, maybe you're just bored in college. Well, then that's not a leader. A leader's got to do, maybe he's a great talent, but he's not a leader. Dude, he's probably one of the best of his age group. One of the best, if not the best leader in the NBA.
People realize, like, at that age, it's not natural to be a leader, nor is it natural for the veterans to listen to you at that age. So it's just a tough spot.
Izzy, you got to think about most of the time when someone says you got to be a leader, they go in there and they start mother effing people and you got to do this and like it turns people off, right? And ultimately people are like, yeah, he was right because he was saying the right things. It's just we didn't like the way he delivered the message at that time with that standing. That's not what happened in Minnesota. He made Karl-Anthony Towns feel good about himself. He makes Rudy Gobert feel good about himself. He makes Julius Randle is bought in, and that's a guy that we thought, man. He wouldn't listen to Jalen Brunson, but like somehow Anthony Edwards has a way about him.
It's just you're authentic. Like when you are your authentic self and it happens to be likable, great combination.
Yeah. Yeah. Because sometimes your authentic self is just an ass. That doesn't work.
And then people put you in a chokehold.
Let me ask you a question. Who does Ant guard if he wants to show that he's going to stop the other star?
I mean, here's the thing. What does it mean? Like, okay, I know Amin Thompson got a ton of credit for what he did on Steph Curry, but what does it mean to be guarding Steph Curry? Like, Steph can just bide his time and wait till somebody else is on him, whether you're switching or whether it's a cross match on a fast break or what have you. Like, and he will efficiently find his. And so, if you're going to tell me, Anthony Edwards, I want you to be the first defender on Steph and put the type of effort Amin Thompson put into defending that man, he's not going to have anything left for offense.
Yeah.
So no, I don't care about Anthony Edwards can be a good defender. He's shown he can play defense. I'm not going to waste all his energy putting him on Steph Curry again, because like I said, when Steph actually shoots, probably going to be somebody else on him.
I think Jaden McDaniels is the perfect guy to put on Steph. Like Thompson, big, long, lithe athlete. Has a lot of energy and also doesn't have a lot of responsibilities on the offensive end, in the way that Anthony Edwards does. My issue becomes, then do I put Ant on Jimmy Butler? And that turns into a very different physical feat. One is foul endurance of running. The other, even without the foul trouble, it's not a walk in the park, man, to get bumped and hit by that guy every single time. And so I wonder about that as well. Or do you take him off of those guys altogether? And you say,
I like that option. I like him being a little bit more of a lurker, using his athleticism, maybe playing the passing lanes, very similar to what Jimmy Butler does when he's not on the ball. I like that option better. Maybe keep him on a Buddy Hield or something. I mean, and you never really know who Steve's going to start. Like, he might change up the lineup depending on, what's working and what's not working. And then, so, is Buddy going to start on somebody who is, joining the start? I'm sorry, not Buddy. Is Ant going to start on somebody who's joining the starting lineup for the first time in a while? Or is he going to be consistently on somebody? I'm with you. I don't like the idea of Jimmy, but that's because of the foul trouble part. I mean, you give me a couple of pump fakes and all of a sudden I got to take him out in the first quarter, and that could be the game for us. So probably not him.
The Jimmy Butler thing is pretty interesting because somehow, some way, I forgot all about this. Oh, he's going back to Minnesota. And I might have forgotten about it. Maybe even the Warriors have forgotten about it. But the people of Minnesota have not forgotten, apparently. And so that adds another layer to all of this, right?
I hadn't thought about that either, because Steph Curry, you know what he loves to do? He loves to stand up for his guys when the road team is giving him shit. He did it to Draymond in Boston during the finals. So he'll definitely not only be there for Jimmy, but let Jimmy go get his and have his big game.
And it's not like Steph and Draymond don't have a history of talking shit at Minnesota. Remember there was that game a couple of years ago where Steph openly mocked the ref for a bad call, and they were literally pointing and laughing at the ref like, you're an idiot. So there's a lot of subtext behind all of this, but the subtext I'm most interested in is, does Buddy Hield's Game 7 buy him any more goodwill with Jimmy Butler? Because Jimmy's been picking on him relentlessly, and he missed that game early in the series. And Steph went crazy. He said, "Oh, great game by everybody except for Buddy." Is what he said. So then
I knew Jimmy was super comfortable with Buddy when he said, after being there for maybe a week or two, that Buddy couldn't spell a word. I forget what word it was, but he said Buddy couldn't spell it. And I was like, "Ooh, that's not. You got to be boys if you're going to make that joke." And then last night, this happened. He said he was introducing him after his press conference, right? After Buddy had already answered his question, he said, "Jimmy Butler, everybody." And Jimmy's just like, "Go, get off." And they're like the really annoying brothers. They get along in private, but in public, they're supposed to fight each other. And that's kind of what these two look like.
Well, my favorite part was what happened after this. So he kicks Buddy off the stage, right? He sits down at the podium. He starts this thing. Buddy lurks in the background and then drops this joke. And I hope the audio comes in.
Buddy. You're not Robert Owen. He's Alfred. His name is Butler. Can you
He says, tell him he's not Robin anymore because the whole Batman and Robin thing has been an ongoing thing during these playoffs. He says, he's Alfred. And then he pauses just in case you didn't get the joke because his last name is Butler.
You get it? You get it? He's probably elbowing somebody back there. You know what? That was a good joke. And you know what? Kind of needed the explanation. So good job at him, Buddy. And you know what? Buddy doesn't talk enough. That's a lovely accent. He should be interviewed a lot more.
All right. So last part about this we want to talk about is the winner of this series, obviously, is going to go on to play the winner of Thunder and Nuggets. Are either of these teams good enough to beat either the Thunder or the Nuggets, either the best team or the team with the best player?
It's tough to predict the Wolves, even though we just saw them go 7 games with the Nuggets last year and win, because it's a different enough team. I've said this about the Warriors during that Rockets series. They look like a 3-man team. That's not going to go very far. But then when you get a Buddy Hield giving you 33, like that game in playoff intense moments can beat anybody. Yeah. And so, I think the Warriors can because they have more people capable or have done it before. I'm not sure if Minnesota can, especially not against OKC.
Are we going to see? Are the Warriors going to win the championship, man? Like,
that'd be good for my podcast.
I sat there last night, and as they're going through that crazy run after the clear path foul, and I thought to myself, oh my God, are they going to do this? Is this the thing that goes on Steph Curry's resume that makes people say, oh, he's even better than we thought he was?
The second thing, because he already did this in 22. Go look at that team. Like, you're going to tell me Andrew Wiggins was what? Super duper star that year? He was Andrew Wiggins, man. He made an all-star team great, but that team won a championship. Jordan Poole was getting regular minutes. Why? Because the whole know how to win thing, man, I've never seen it more than Draymond and Steph and Steve Kerr. Never seen it more. Not more than Kobe Shaq, who like flipped the switch and come to playoff. Nobody, and it's just, look, it's not just a Steph Curry thing, but it's obviously mostly a Steph Curry thing. If you can look like you're down and out for 3.5 quarters and then a Curry flurry all of a sudden gets you up by 10, it's like, what am I going to do?
Love a Curry flurry. Steve Kerr said after the game 7 in the locker room, he said that was the type of performance, and he's pointed at the vets. He said, these guys have hung banners on performances like that, and he told the young guys, you guys can learn a lot from this. All right, coming up. The Giannis trade rumors are already a bit unhinged, and that means it's oddball material. Bring it to me, and we're going to put it on a grid next.
Grid ball.
All right, this one's easy. The internet is full of rumored destinations for Giannis Antetokounmpo. So what we're going to do, because we love math here, we love building grids, we're going to rank them all on our grid from insane to interesting and bad fit to good fit. You see Giannis
That's
right
not
there.
math. That's 2 sticks.
That's math.
That's not math.
X-axis, Y-axis. Come on, man. So where you want to be is in the top right quadrant. Where you don't want to be is in the bottom left quadrant. But of course, that's where the interesting things happen. Let's start with an easy one. This is a softball. The Houston Rockets, right? Houston, young up-and-coming team, right? Houston has a bunch of young players that could trade, plus a gajillion picks. Houston, a metropolitan area that has a large number of Nigerian descendants, and Houston, coached by a guy of Nigerian origin in Ime Udoka.
Wow, let's just stop the game here. This is clearly where he's going. I'll give you another element to it that I find good that I might have mentioned on yesterday's show. The Rockets have a piece that maybe they might want to dangle in Alperen Şengün. Because what does Giannis do? Of course, he's going to dominate the paint. You don't need another guy who you got to give the ball to in the paint. And man, talk about interesting. If you're the Milwaukee Bucks, like, I'll take an all-star in his early 20s and, back for my all-star who just turned 30. So it makes them better. So it's definitely high on the good line. And I think it's pretty interesting when you talk about a team that has Giannis and Amin Thompson defensively. Throw that up.
More. Yes, I should struggle to see the red Rockets logo on
Yes,
that red
exactly.
background. That's how I should feel. No, this is it's like one of those things where it's like, well, how can we make everybody happy, right? Because like you said, Milwaukee gets to say, look, we're getting a guy who's like at the beginning of this journey. He's 22 years old, already an all-star. And we get to kind of like start this cycle all over again in terms of starting with a young.
Is there a big Turkish population in Milwaukee? Because that would just be too big of a perfect
Chicago?
fit.
Maybe Chicago. Chicago. But then obviously for the Rockets, for all the reasons listed, like this is exactly what they need. And now I would
maybe
say
another shooter,
more shooting, another play creator off the handle, because I don't know about Jalen Green so much, but I love this. And we could just stop right now, right? That's it. No, we're gonna go on. The San Antonio Spurs, Izzy. The San Antonio Spurs.
Ooh.
So still in Texas, so a lot of Nigerians. So we have that going. You have Wembanyama, right? So you have another dominant big. You got an inside-outside thing going. You've got De'Aaron Fox, a good point guard, and you know this for Giannis. This resets for him kind of what his window is, because unlike in Houston, there's someone that he's going to hand the baton off to.
Right. It still gives them about 8 to 10 years to do some work, and if he wants to play that long. Look, in terms of interesting, I thought Amin Thompson and Giannis were interesting. Victor Wembanyama and Giannis are crazy interesting. Like go through the roof. And when I say good, bad, again, this is, does it make your team better? Right? Is it good for your team, your franchise? And I'd have to say, go ahead.
Well, there's an and in there for me. Does it make sense for Milwaukee? Right.
True.
So this might be good for San Antonio. Not might be. This is absolutely good for San Antonio.
Right.
The problem is if you tell Milwaukee, hey, we want Giannis, but you can't have Victor Wembanyama, and you probably can't have De'Aaron Fox either. Well, then the names that are left are decidedly less exciting than, for instance, Şengün, the Houston Rockets.
So let's move them to closer to Rockets in terms of good, but not quite as good. Leave them up there at the top of interesting.
Yes.
Drop the Rockets down a half an inch of interest, because I just think the Giannis and Wembanyama pairing is a little bit more interesting than whatever your second person is.
That's
Houston.
max interesting. You're right. That is max interesting. Is Wembanyama and Giannis together? So I'm with that.
Who else we got?
We got the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks.
So you got the Knicks.
You got a big Nigerian population and a big Greek population. So you get both.
Wow.
Little bit of both. The Knicks are obviously good. And Jalen Brunson, I'm assuming, would be the guy. And we know that Giannis is best paired with someone who's a perimeter scorer like that. Now, here's the problem. You got to play for Tom Thibodeau. And I don't know if that's exactly, I mean, Giannis doesn't know how to say no, so he'll keep playing. But
not going to be the most creative offense, going to require a lot of him on defense, going to play a lot of minutes. Like the Knicks will probably be just as good as they are now, maybe a little bit better. And in terms of interesting, like, I don't know if a Tom Thibodeau team with Jalen Brunson is going to be the most interesting place to put Giannis, although playing in MSG every night.
MSG, put him up, higher. Yeah. Not that high. Come back down. All right, let's go quick here. Thunder.
Yeah.
Thunder. They own every single first round pick ever for the rest of the time.
The great thing about the Thunder pick is that, and you can put them to the right in terms of good, is like you can convince Milwaukee to take some stuff that might not even hurt your team. Like you probably can sell, one of your non-all-stars and then a ton of picks. Or, you don't want to give up on Chet
all-stars. I'll give you Jalen Williams. Take him.
Okay.
No, this is up there to me like Houston. Thunder is right around Houston because they have young players, they have picks, and we know, hey, you put Giannis with like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Wow, what a combo that is. To me,
I would drop it a little bit just because it's still Oklahoma City, and I just don't want this should not be the center of the NBA world. It's just not. It's not. Never gonna be.
Everyone's in the top right quadrant. Let's bring in the Lakers. Throw them back.
Drop down to insane because
how
this is going to happen, I have no idea.
You have nothing to offer.
They'd be good.
They would be good.
Damn, they'd be good.
And then finally, the Miami Heat.
Ooh. We're taking your Pelicans one off the board because we already threw that out there. That wouldn't be that interesting. It wouldn't quite be insane. It would be halfway down there. And look, Bam Adebayo, Isn't he of Nigerian descent?
Yeah, but he'd be the one to go, so that's the problem there.
Okay, so not the bets here.
No. Sorry, that'll do it.
Sorry, Miami.